motherfuckers on the road. Where the hell they learn to drive? Jive turkeys at my job, about to get a cool, cold, mean five. Should've took the day off. Might slap my boss. My own damn kids pissing me off. As if I hadn't had enough. Chipotle, fuck my goddamn order up. I'm fed up, I'm fed up, I'm fed up. I feel like slapping a nigga today. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I feel like slapping a nigga today. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I feel like slapping a nigga today. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bartender, don't you see me waving you down? This guy came after me, I was here first, but you serving him rounds. No, I bought the Uber here, my friends expecting me to buy it back. Tomorrow morning, I better get a cash app, or every last one of you motherfuckers getting slapped. Bet that. Whoa, I feel like slapping a nigga today. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I feel like slapping a nigga today. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I feel like slapping a nigga today. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Woke up this morning with these thoughts in my head. The world would be better off if I just stayed my ass in bed. Whoa, I feel like slapping a nigga today. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I feel like slapping a nigga today. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I feel like slapping a nigga today. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the AAA episode number, what? 617, I believe? Yeah, 617. Do you Paraskevidekatriaphobia Bro? I didn't look up how to say it. I just looked up the word of it. But do you even Paraskevidekatriaphobia Bro? And joining me in the sitting room here, hanging out, is Sam. Sam, how you doing?
Oh, not too bad, Polly. It's been a bit warm and stormy here today. Or a bit storm and warmy, one of the two. Haven't quite worked out which yet.
Hold on.
Dehydrated if I'm...
Storm and warmy.
Yeah.
Could have been, I'm leaving it alone. I don't want to fuck with those words anymore.
Warm and wet, Polly. Yeah, go on,
but warm and wet, we talked about this previously, man. There's a word, sultry. Are you trying to tell me it's sultry in France today?
Oh, it's always sultry when I'm around, Polly.
Yeah, I did.
But yes, it has been. Yeah, it hit 113 Fahrenheit yesterday.
Holy fuck! Really?
Yeah. Where I'm at we've got like a really weird microclimate where the jet stream doesn't always bring us the cold weather it should, but it absolutely does suck up the hot weather from Africa,
right?
And deposits it right on our fucking heads. So yeah, it's been hot. It's not been so bad today. It only hit 96. So yeah.
The idea just crossed my mind. It's like, hey, sultry Sam. It's kind of like a litter. No, I'm not calling. That's weird. No,
don't do that. That's my pen name.
if you go over to Amazon right now, you can find all kinds of self-authored and self-published books under the title of Sultry Sam, and there's some of the hottest bodice ripper fiction you're ever going to come across.
Unfortunately, for those of you celebrating Pride Month, it's all straight content. I'm very sorry.
But you know, my big problem is that I read too much noir stuff. So it's like, Raymond Chandler particularly.
Right.
The word sultry is invariably applied to women.
Yeah.
The woman walked in, and the mood in the room became sultry, hot and wet, humid. Like there's an obvious implication there. I get what you're doing, Raymond. Well done, by the way. But there's there's an implication. I can't call a man sultry. It's just weird. And you might notice that it's only Jean-Luc Picard's avatar face palming on the couch, Sam's avatar. As you guys probably know from Wednesday, Sinatra already said he's not going to be here. He's off doing professional photography unit. So good on him pursuing.
Hey.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing the photography thing and pulling in contracts. So awesome for him. And he's got one today as well as a wedding that he has to attend. So he's totally booked up for today. And Ed let us know. And that's why he was doing Wednesday's show. And I'm doing today's show. And Drunkle can't be here because he has plans. So there we go. Sam's generous enough to come hang out. So, woo!
Yeah, nice. You could say Sinatra's triple book today.
Yeah.
You could say that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't. It's such an easy line.
Yeah.
I should write all the business slogans for the AAA Polly.
I don't know. Do we need groaning dad jokes in advertising? Is that a...
Well, chat, why don't we let him know? Yeah, absolutely. How's yourself, Polly, anyway?
Oh, well, I wasn't prepared to talk about myself. Busy. Things have been busy.
Nobody believes that.
I've been, remember the pigeonhole thing?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I got tasked, really unfortunately, with being a... You! Okay. You know what? I need more Scarface donations. I've decided that. I need to pick one of Robert Loggia's better moments in that movie, because I love me some Robert Loggia and go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you even Robert Loggia, bro?
I do not personally Robert my Loggia, no.
Boom, here we go. Gamer Verleen, thank you for the $18. Blaming women? I mean, you summoned? Well, yeah, I'm blaming women. I just... What was the thing that I heard the other day? And I'm like, see, if Sam was here, I'd crack that joke. Otherwise, I'm just going to come across as a sexist. And I was like, wait a minute. Does that mean Sam and I are a couple of sexists? So, like, yeah, probably.
No. Sexism implies a degree of bigotry, Polly. Women absolutely could change my mind. They just choose not to.
Yeah. It's their fault. Thank you, Gamer Verleen. Happy to have you here, as always. She gets to avoid a lot of the female judgment because, you know what? As sexist as I am, the harshest things that I've heard about women have come from her. So, yeah, in your face, feminists.
Oh, dude, when it comes to giving women grief, we're fucking amateurs, man.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Verleen's
been at it before puberty, man. She's been at it for a long time. Only when we noticed women that were attracted to them did we started developing in bitterness.
Seriously, go to a white suburban mom brunch sometime and hear what they fucking say. I mean, don't, because you will want to do the things that I can't mention on stream.
Right.
To yourself. But yeah, absolutely. It's awful, man. It's awful. I survived. I lived. But I learned some things. And good Lord.
Do you have both our donations up on your OBS, Sam? Or whatever way you're doing it?
Sorry. I've been mucking around with my audio because it's been crackling.
Oh, I'm just wondering if I hit this, if you're going to see it. I mean, I've got your donations up. By the way, oh, shit. Sam, send me your link so I can put your donations below. I totally dropped the ball on that till right the fuck now when I thought of it. Have you done it yet?
In moments.
Why haven't you done it yet?
I'm doing it as we speak. Oh god, it's asking me to log in again. Oh.
All right. In the meantime, let me just that's fine here. Boom.
There's a finger in my food.
Thank you. You tell Steve Dave there's a finger in my food. Yeah, tell me about it. Thank you for the $4. The Otter made it. Yes, it did. Well, I guess that means you bastards better get smashing that like button. So help me if it ends up like the ratio on those old-timey drunkle videos. I'll have your asses. That's right. Nobody liked those. What do you mean? What were the ratios like on the old-timey drunkle videos? Were they askew? I thought they would have been really good. Nonetheless, the point is it'll be your asses, and Steve David will be the one having your ass, so to speak. Don't read into it. Don't be gay, bro. Gay, bro. Do you know how I know that it's not men, it's people never really grow up? You know, like when someone will crack like a joke, or it's like, come on, just you'll be watching like a deadly serious moment in a movie, and some military officer will say to another, "You don't get your head straight, Lieutenant, and do your duty." And everyone in the room goes, "He said duty." Okay, women may not let you know, but they're giggling too. Okay, you know how I know? There was a guy at a conference I went to last year. This is an academic conference. Okay, if you're lucky enough to get in as a grad student, you're in a small bunch. Most of the people that are there are tenure track professors, so you can feel really out of fucking sorts. Kind of like play your cards close to your chest, keep it low, talk to some people, don't act too big for your britches. That's the kind of environment it is, right? Because professors can be snotty, exclusionary, gatekeeping people that make your life hard. So, that's kind of thing going on. There was one professor there. His first name was Gaylord. Everyone in the room, man, people in their 60s, gentlemen and ladies that are, well into their 50s and 60s. This guy goes, "Hello, I'm Dr. Gaylord." And like everyone was killing everyone. We're all giggling. The person on the panel with him, the discussant, there's one individual on a panel always called the discussant, meaning the person who asks them questions and inquiries before the Q&A session starts. The discussant was a friend of his and kept calling him by his first name. So he goes, "So Gaylord, tell me." And you hear the snickers go through the room. Everybody is, no one ever grows up, man. Men, women, we're all the same. It's true. Who names? I mean, we joke about that, right? Or it's like, naming your kid Jeeves, or some female's name out of pop culture, like naming her Renesmee or whatever it might be, right? It's just a stupid move. Why would you do that? Why would you name your kid Gaylord? What's wrong? What part of the world are you in that you don't understand it,
I think it's Welsh. It might even be a French derivative somewhere down the line.
What?
Some weird confluence of languages.
So what's the nice way of calling somebody who's gay? Like, how do you say homo in French, basically?
And gay.
What does it mean? The gay? What?
Yeah, a gay. Yeah.
Oh, gay. I'm gay. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, really?
It's actually a gender neutral as well. You could say une gay to refer to a gay lady. Yeah. To a lesbian.
Well, that's pretty calm. I would have thought that it would have been like some kind of I don't know, allusion to an easily broken branch or something that's quite effeminate, I don't...
We have a lot of slurs. We do have lots of slurs, but we also do have a fair few polite terms. Yeah.
Because a bundle of twigs. Okay, boom. All right. There. Sam's donation link is below for any of you who are feeling generous enough to support Picard here. Our French, British. We always have a British contingent. It's nice to know. And, a more formally RP version than we usually get. It's nice. It's a nice change. God, man, how do people do it with one screen?
They probably end up having an obus that looks worse than mine.
I was telling...
you've seen mine.
Yeah, I was telling Sinatra about that the other day, because I was asking him about how he runs the radio show when he does the SCP all weekend shows that he hasn't done in a while, and I was bugging him. You got to do that again, man. That's kind of fun to tune in throughout the weekend and listen for like an hour. I like that vibe of doing stuff, a radio show for content. And he's like, oh yeah, I haven't done it in a while, and here's how I do it. And he does it with Streamlabs OBS. I'm like, why not regular OBS? And he's explaining his reasons why. And he goes, because I don't want to mess around with OBS where you kind of start adding all the widgets in. Like, you got to ask Sam to see his. It looks like a pilot's view in a cockpit or something. It's just displays and buttons and dials and shit. It's
gotten better since because I triple stream now, Polly.
Right.
Yeah, I'm on 3 platforms. So I've got the One Center preview. I've got the Stream Ninja chat thing, which we still need to set up.
Yes, we do.
We still need.
Yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm. And so I've got a doc of that included in as well, so I can see all of my chats all at the same time. I mean, I can send you a screenshot. Actually, you should be able to share this. I don't think there's anything in particular.
Fear the friendly dogs.
That's what I'm double checking everything for.
For those who use OBS, I'm still trying to get. It's funny. I've gotten so deep with encoding, right? And I don't like deep for me. I'm not saying for anybody who actually knows what they're doing, but for my half-ass approach, I've gotten deep with different encoding formats and so on, and figuring out what's what and what's better. 264 to 265. I'm still figuring out the parameter because it gets deep. You know that better than I do, right? It's which is better, NVIDIA 265 or regular H265? Well, that depends on like 30 different factors you have to take into account one at a time. Shit gets crazy. I just found out that Sony Vegas offers, at least at the version that I'm using, no options. It's encoding in H264, and that's the end of it.
So it only does hardware encoding.
That's right. It
doesn't support X264 at all.
No. And if you want to avoid 264 encoding at all, like you want to use what's one like VH1 or whatever the fuck, you have to go over to specialized plugins, third-party plugins, to be able to use like .mov encoding, and then and only then can you use a separate encoding outside of H264, hardware based.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I'm like, I had no idea it was that limited. My God, OBS offers like a plenitude of options further than that, and it's just streaming software.
Yeah,
it's not even editing. In any case, chat's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Or there's people who know what they're talking about, and they're like, fuck, you're a noob. Yeah, I know, it's true. Deep,
we ain't never claimed
like
to be
your voice. No, nothing's as deep as that. Which is a nice change for today's, stream, right? Sinatra's running a fucking Shure 7B, so he's got all those smoky low tones coming through beautifully. If you ever listen to him in like Discord, wow, you see the value of a 7B. It's really nice. It's unfortunately YouTube compresses the fuck out of everything. It destroys a lot of quality that people put into their work. It's their compression is kind of fucking, crazy town. Ooh.
Hey, fuck you, man!
What did I say about Scarface donations? Look, there's one right there. Dear Evelyn, thank you for the $8.50. The parents that name their kids after pop culture are the same parents that bitch online about bullies instead of teaching their kids how to not get bullied. Also, how was your grouping? Oh, I'm assuming you mean at the USPSA match or qualifying match? It was better than it should have been. It's like I was telling people that it. So Sam, I went to a qual match, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was shooting in the classic division. And what that means is it's the details of the kind of guns that you can use in the classic division basically limit it to 1911s and their derivatives and Browning high powers. Yeah. That's it. And that's the point of it, right? That's the point of that division. And no one really that I've seen shoots a Browning high power, though you can if you wanted to. I'm sure people do. High powers are beloved, but it's basically the 1911 division. And I just went up there, and very few people, I guess, in my local area, choose to shoot, anything that's full power. They go with minor power factor instead of major power factors. They go with 9mm instead of 40 or 45 to summarize it. I'm shooting classic 45, full power. Yeah. Rated 850 feet a second because, why go more than that if you don't need to? Because I'm hand loading. And the only other two people that were competing in there were two old guys that were doing it in their retiree years for fun. Now, it just happened to turn out that way. So what happened? I came in number 1 in the division. Me. Okay.
It still counts.
Yeah, no, it does. It does count. But the problem, all right, is that I did very well that day. Some days your mojo's working, right? Everyone's experienced that. Has gone to the range where someday you feel like you can't miss. The next time you go, you can't hit shit. You're like, what the fuck changed? I don't know. Someday your mojo's on, and some days it's just, you didn't bring your je ne sais quoi with you or whatever, The problem, last time I competed, I came in, there was 22 people with me. So 23 including, I was number 23. Literally everybody beat me. Well, that happens sometimes, especially if everyone who's good shows up. I guess all of them went to a different match location to qualify or were sick that day or, because there's like 3 or 4 different qualifying matches. But with the people I compete with, I beat the 2 old guys. Well, that's great. So what's the problem? Well, I get pushed into a category. I qualified for a much higher category than I normally would, which means the people that I'm going to competing with next when I actually go to the match are going to fucking destroy me, Sam. Like it.
or, hear me out on this. You could have a really fucking good day, and they could all have really bad ones.
I
The
hope
odds
so.
are
Yeah.
slim, but non-zero.
I just.
It could happen.
Yeah. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Yeah. Probably beats old men to win first place. Yes. Okay. See, you know what? Sam, you were there that one time we were watching commercials, Far and I. Was that you?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. We saw the commercial for the retirement village.
Yeah.
And I started postulating this idea that that's my goal in life, to pretend that I'm old and move into the retirement village because beautiful houses, man-made lake, golf course, all these amenities for the old folks, right? And I'm like, I want to move in there. I can wear plaid pants and walk around and pretend I'm 70. You know what I mean? But I would, you'd get all the wonderful buffets that they have. I'd win at every athletic competition. I'd be number 1 amongst the ancient folk. And, they're not going to last that long. Every time one of them kicks off, I get to move into their better apartment for the same cost because it's all rent controlled.
And, if any of them are being mistreated as well, you could be like OAP Batman.
Damn right. I would be like the geriatric Dark Knight.
Look how fast he moves.
Yeah.
You could be the Grey Knight.
You don't threaten to knock people's teeth out. You just threaten to take them out. Because they're dentures,
Yeah.
I'll hide your walker on you, old man. Don't you push around fucking Jebediah anymore. And you leave his cousin Malachi out of this. When he wants to visit, that's his business.
Yes, I'll put in a good word with Ezekiel.
Yeah. You seem very spry for a man of, let me just look at your records here. 72, Rudiger.
All the biddies say I'm pretty spry.
That's
an
right.
old guy.
I was like, well, that's what you get. Clean living and a pure heart. Okay. Really? No. It's the fresh beet juice every morning. That's what does it. Drink your beet juice, gentlemen. Seriously, don't drink your beet juice. It'll just... Have you ever drank beet juice, Sam?
As in the vinegary runoff from beetroot. Is that?
Well, it's only vinegary if they've been pickled.
I can't say as I have.
So I've been doing the juicing thing for a while with fruits and vegetables, guys, not fucking steroids. And when I was trying to figure out what were the best, most nutrients, lowest cost, because some leafy greens are expensive and chock full of vitamins and minerals and whatnot. And others have 90% of those vitamin minerals, but are half the cost because they're not nearly as exotic.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out what's the best mixes and what tastes all right and so on. And that's how I discovered cranberries are such an awesome additive to any smoothie because low cost, nice tart vitamin C, cheap in the whole, don't use ice cubes, use like frozen cranberries. Whole cranberries are cheap and chock full of everything you want, that kind of thing. That's when I tried beets, like beetroot. Oh, dude, it just turns your, I'm just gonna say it, it turns your defecations and your urinations blood red. You'll think you're bleeding internally. The color doesn't change slightly from ingesting it. You'll think you're bleeding from your asshole the next time you sit down. Frightening. Frightening. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's just a color change. I don't care. Your mind, I've discovered, is apparently subconsciously cued to be worried when blood red colors come out your butt.
It's usually an indication of something quite severe, yes.
Yes.
Bloody when I'm shouting, very, very frightening me.
Yeah. Adam West is already a geriatric Batman. That's true.
Thank you, Valine, very much for the $5. She says, I'm convinced Polly has spidey senses. We haven't seen him in Discord, and you know I definitely told Reaper about this, and that I asked how his grouping was on Monday.
Now, how does that relate to a spidey sense? Let me think about this. I don't get it.
No, me either. Me either. What do you mean, Valine? Expound, if you would, please.
I mean, yeah, I guess the short version of the story there is I don't think people want to hear too much detail about like how are your A zone and B zone hits, which are your head and body shots, but they call them A zone and B zone, like on the USPSA approved targets. And it's like, oh, I got like, I think like 3 throughout the entire course of fire. There were 14 stations of fire, like 14 different rounds basically that you go through. And of 14 stations of fire, I only got time penalties on 3, which is pretty good for me. Like, and I beat them 2 old bastards. Because it is run and gun, right? And you should see, for them it was more like, you know, hobble and gun. And it was.
Jeez.
See, that would be me at the old folks home, right? Those bastards can't even swing a driver, man. I'm hitting 300 yards. It's like 300 yards. That's all you're driving. It's all I need to drive. Those old fuckers can't hit shit.
I don't know, man. My grandfather passed away when he was 96. And he played a round of golf like 4 weeks before he died. And yeah, topped out fucking 325-yard fucking drive. It's like, holy shit. Old man has still got it.
Yeah, that's
because it's technique, right? It's technique more.
It 100% is.
Power.
Like my parents had me pretty along into their marriage. So my dad's not a young guy. But I went to the driving range with him, and oh yeah, he was smoking me by hundreds of yards. Like, you know, it's technique. Yeah, he's been playing for fucking years, and so holy shit, when he swats that ball, you ever seen the slow motion hits of a golf ball? How it like crushes into an oval? It's really cool. Like,
satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is fun to watch, man. Like but you hear, you know, that real particular swatting noise when somebody knows what they're doing, nails a ball. Like driving it every time. Walk that particular noise. Like, good God,
walk is the noise, isn't it? It's not a tap. It's not a bang. It's not a splat. It's a walk.
Yeah. It's fucking and he does it like time and time again. And when I don't know, it's like the first time you try a proper thumbs forward grip on a handgun, it feels awkward. But once you get used to it, you don't want to do anything else because you realize, oh, this is how you get a great purchase. This is how you get both hands on there in such a way, high controllability and everything. But if you want to remember how awkward it feels for a newcomer, especially if you're not used to it, switch hands. If you're right hand dominant, switch hands and try and do a 2 thumbs forward grip with the other hand. And like, oh yeah, this feels really weird. Yeah, that's how it feels for somebody trying it for the first time. If you're helping a friend out. My dad's like trying like, okay, do this, hold the golf club this way, swing back in this way. It feels awkward and stupid, but you got to have faith they know what they're doing because that's exactly what he's doing. And look at the results, you know. Technique, like you said, especially the moves, like with the knees and everything, like keep your feet on the ground and do it in this particular way. There's a tendency you want to like lean up when you think, no, keep both feet on the ground. It's exploding golf ball. Yeah. Okay. we got to get going here earlier today because I got to get going because I got to run out and do a couple of errands. Today's a Friday stream, so I've got limited time. Sam has also got a lot of stremming to do today. Tell me, Sam, what stremming do you have to do today?
All the strumming. Okay, so it's unusual for me to stream on a Friday evening. I try and dodge around the AAA. I don't like streaming around the same time. A lot of you guys come and hang out on my streams as well. So I don't like to overload you guys. So it's normally it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, as a lot of you know. But tonight there is going to be there's a new season starting on the main game that Blatty and I have been playing, which is of course Path of Exile 1, and It's going to be pretty big because this is the Path of Exile 2 has not officially dropped just yet. So we're making the most of the first one, and there's a lot of new stuff coming. And it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be absolute mayhem. There's going to be so many bugs, guys. So many bugs, and we're going to die again and again and again. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, later on, Polly, what have we got coming up?
Noir Bar!
Yeah!
So now, 12:30 a.m. Eastern, we're going to be ready to go. I don't have the watch page ready yet, and because I'm the one hosting the stream, I can't make one. Well, I could, but, you'd hear me sadly distracted while I'm doing it. So, and I got to put a thumbnail together and all that other good shit. So, 12:30 a.m. Eastern, Noir Ball will be there.
Heroin. Peppermint-flavored heroin.
Well, yeah, of course.
I've already finished all my thumbnails and stuff. I like to get out ahead of that as best I can. Otherwise, I'll forget or I'll put it off or something will distract me, and then it doesn't get done. And then I look like I look like the complete amateur I am.
Gamer Valine, thank you for the donation. $3.75 for the peppermint flavored heroin. I told Reaper, of all people, that you qualify Grandmaster. How do you think we reacted? You spent enough time with us. You guys started arguing about the advantages and disadvantages of E4 status. That's where every other conversation with you two goes.
Fucking brutal.
Reaper brought up the chair force for some reason, that kind of thing. If anything has instructed me is to the level of respect and rivalry that exists among the services, it's listening to those two talk. There is a deep level of unshakable respect and a serious amount of rivalry all at the same time. It's veterans are interesting to listen to when they get together in a room. It's got like, don't get involved. You don't have a place here. This is their thing. And whoa, man, it's
this is a chess tournament you are not invited to.
Right. Yeah. Well,
until the Marines get involved, and then it's and it's checkers.
Well, Patty's on her way out. Have a good night. It's so early to be saying that.
Yeah. Sorry to everyone who said hello to me in chat earlier on. I'm not ignoring you. Well, I was, but I'm not now. I was working on stuff. I do apologize. Hello, everyone. Very late, but.
All right, so we are going to do some. Oh, Sam. So put your link in chat to
Yes.
your channel, so everybody who doesn't watch your content can already go over and watch you and Platty game and everything like that. So that's up there, and we'll get started on some schnews. Boom, there it is.
There's my YouTube. Nice. You can find links to all the other platforms I'm on actually on my YouTube channel page if you are so inclined. Be great to see you guys there.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult. I'll catch Noir Bar when I wake up to go to work because you guys will still be on. I think we got judged or complimented. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Polly. I don't think human beings are capable of judging us, mate.
Well, here's what I feel. We would. Oh no.
Hey, fuck you, man!
Man, I feel the exact same way.
That person really brains that goose, man. Those aren't light taps. It's just, you stupid fucking. I was trying to feed you or water you. Gamerline, thank you for the 850. The Air Force went to Iraq. Ask my guy about the 2005 election. Also, we both giggled, you water weasel. Yeah, I know. I'm sure you guys found it funny that I qualified as Grandmaster because I have a shellacking coming at the match. It's gonna be vicious. How is it this plebe got here among us? Why, he doesn't even... Man, some of those guys are sponsored. And I know, what does that matter? It's kind of fucking intimidating, bro. When a dude comes in a shooting shirt and he's got like Smith & Wesson emblazoned across his back, and it's like, for real?
And he's firing a fucking handgun that costs more than the car you drove there in.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they're firing the brand name that they've got sponsorship for, be it Smith & Wesson or Springfield or whoever, right? But they're with the local team, like Springfield's Team Springfield, but local. Yeah. Yeah. And they're going to fucking demolish you. And they have their ammo paid for. It's like, man, every round I fire, I personally hand loaded. Fuck. I'm in trouble, because these guys don't have time for that shit. I'm
in danger.
Noir Bar runs way long. Okay, and this is what I'm here to tell you. We wouldn't run 8 hours, which we do sometimes, if Far would learn to properly tard wrangle us, but she doesn't. And you know who to blame. I tell her before we go live, remember to tard wrangle us, and she goes, okay. And then gets upset when we cross the 6-hour mark. Well...
She really should become a mechanic with how often we toss her underneath the bus.
Yeah. I mean, she knows the look of the place pretty well. It's
right.
Like how you said us, it's not just me. Yeah.
Yeah. I toss her under the bus periodically.
But what if you beat the sponsored people? Oh, man. If I beat someone from Team Smith, I'm calling Smith.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a Karen to talk to your manager, but in that case, I want to talk to that person's manager. Seriously, it's like, I'm a multi-employed at 5 different fucking part-time jobs grad student, and I just beat one of your fucking sponsored guys here.
You had a golden opportunity to use the term polyvalent, and you passed it up. I'm so disappointed right now.
Well, yeah,
I'm a post-grad polyvalent, and I beat your guy.
Maybe I could act ignorant and start the conversation and be like, I beat your women. Yeah, but you're in the men's league competition, right? Oh, that's a difference? Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
Well, legally, it is in Britain now. Anyway,
actually, it's funny you say that, because Valine is the one, or it's funny I bring that up because Valine's the one because that's always kind of... I've had a sense of why that is, different men and women's leagues in shooting sports. Like, why? And we're talking shooting sports, not biathlon, where you're cross-country skiing and then you stop and shoot your precision .22 rifles. Okay, I get that there's a huge cardiovascular aspect to that. But when it's shooting sports like I'm talking about, why is there a men and women's league? Why do the men compete at such a higher level than the women, such that they have separate leagues to bring a degree of fairness to it? And it must be hand-eye coordination and I started coming up with a bunch of different things, but mostly like in and around the notions of, physiological advantage, like hand-eye coordination, steadiness of shot, so on. Yep, that's what it breaks down to. And she was the one who sent me the peer-reviewed study showing the difference, particularly with the physiometric aspects of shooting, the ability to develop stabilizing isometric force, apparently, is a key difference between men and women. And I'm like, yeah, all right. Still beat all the women, yeah. Mr. Smith, what is going on here? Yeah. And if he's not available, I'll gladly talk to Wesson. Nobody ever gets to speak to him. I'll give him a piece of my mind. I joke about women shooters, but the truth is my shooting hero is Julie Golub, Julie G, because she's so fun and she's so fucking good at what she does, and she absolutely dominates there's 7 different categories you can compete in at USPSA competition. She's the only one to win Grandmaster and the national competition in all 7 categories. And be, well, yeah, for women, okay, can you name a guy who did it? But she's this happy-go-lucky person about the whole thing. Like, wow, it was really fun. Thanks for having me. And it's like, it's almost more infuriating to have the person that destroyed you be so chipper about the whole thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, she's cool. And the truth is, it's like, oh well, you're a man, you could beat her. No, not in. Remember when the women's U.S. Soccer League with Rapone and all of them loudmouth bitches got destroyed by a bunch of 15-year-old boys in Texas? Remember that? No, Sam doesn't remember that. Okay, it happened. They went up against the 15-year-old varsity team in a soccer match and got absolutely destroyed by them. And this is the Olympic female team. Wow. Yeah, the difference is not nearly that wide in shooting competition. Yeah, there's a difference that there needs to be a male and female league, and I agree with it, because otherwise, what's the point? It's just not a fair. I mean, we even divide between skill level. That's master, grandmaster, and so on. So you're not going to compete against people that aren't in your league, literally. So it's not like weight competition, like in boxing or kickboxing or squared circle matches of any sort. It's going to be the kind of how long you've been in it and what level you're shooting at to be what league you end up in, and therefore you're competing against people at a similar skill level as you. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that skill level shit would destroy me when it comes to somebody like Julie Golub, a top competitor. Oh man, I could train for the rest of my life and not be at her level. So the divisions aren't that wide between men and women. That's good to know. All right, let's find out what's going on.
Oh, but sorry about that. I crashed there for a second.
You did what?
I crashed out there.
Oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've got I get worried about this every time I've got the, you have a Windows update waiting, because one time my computer did auto shut down in the middle of a stream to do a Windows update. It didn't even, that I recall, give me the option of postpone till later. There was no pop-up. It just did it. I was like, fuck. So I'm sitting there staring at that on my taskbar right now and living worried. Have I ever shot a 30 Luger? Personally, no. I've certainly seen the round. It's a cool little looking round. But Sam, you ever shot a 30 Luger?
I have not.
Yeah, it looks like it's a bottleneck cartridge, like a 357 SIG. Looks like it's about the size of a 40 Smith & Wesson cartridge, and then it's got like a bottleneck case neck on it to bring it down to shoot the 30 caliber bullet that's in there. Mm-hmm. Interesting little round. Okay, let's start with the schnooze. Oh, shit, I got to share with you, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Sorry, the new screen there on Discord threw me, bro. You know what really throws me? Shit like this. Open link. Boom. Look at chat. Look at Sam's OBS screen. Look at this. I mean, what size screen do you have?
The one that's running on is a 1920 by 1080.
Okay, that's its aspect ratio, but like how many inches is it, if you know what I mean?
Oh, sorry. 27-inch screen.
Fuck. Okay. Well, I don't have an excuse there, because mine is also a 27-inch monitor. It's a 1080, but if I tried, and biggening this thing like so, yeah, there's a lot going on there, man. Fuck. Yeah, I'm just looking at all your stuff and things here. It's like, yeah, mine is I'm just looking at my OBS screen that's on the other screen over here that I'm currently streaming AAA on, and it's like, good God, mine looks nothing like this. You've emasculated me, Sam.
I got frustrated with having like stuff on loads and loads of different like windows and all pop-outs and all that kind of thing. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a cockpit for streaming out of, and it's gonna have all of the things that I need, that are all roughly the right fucking size, where I can just glance across and it becomes like second nature, right? Second nature, where it is I'm looking at to find the information that I want when I need. Audio levels, all that kind of bullshit. And yeah, so I did that. There are better designs than that, I'm sure, but hey, it works for me.
Still fucking impressive. I'd like to try that, like put some of those things together and see how it works out. Whether I'd consider all of them to be useful or what. Would I ever buy a muzzleloader? You're damn right I would. I would love to get a replica of a Revolutionary War era Brown Bess flintlock. Would love to have one. It would be my Brown Bess musket reproduction. See, that's exactly the kind of thing that I would want. I would love for it to be my 4th of July celebration where we're gonna go shoot some black powder on today, this day of our revolution. Woo! Yeah, great fun. Be like, you want a, vintage one? Well, sure I would, but I wouldn't want to shoot it, because one that was actually still, the metallurgy was a little touch and go. Touch and go on a flintlock. The metallurgy was a little all over the place, and I wouldn't want to take a chance on blowing it up. And more to the point, it's I don't know, the amount of money it would cost for a reasonable quality one, I'm assuming would be a little through the roof because they can often come pretty rusted and fucked up like this one. Oh man, sold price a 1770 Brown Bess musket from Ketland and Company. Do I even want to know how much that cost, all rusted and fucked up like that?
It's kind of weird. I've seen some muskets go for
it's
it's
estimated to,
like that.
It's sold, and they don't want to say. It was estimated to go between $2,000 and $3,000, and it's like, but would you even want to shoot it? I'd want to own one. I wouldn't want to shoot it though. That's my only point. Is like, I'd love to own one to have above the fireplace. Fuck yes, but yeah.
You own an original and you shoot a replica.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I want one in that kind of condition where it looks beautiful. And let's not even get into my desire to have a set of period correct dueling muskets. Yeah, with an accompanying leather glove, because how else would you demand satisfaction?
With a mailed glove.
No, I think a nice lambskin, so you get that real nice. I demand satisfaction, sir. Well, the person's like got a hand to their face with like the soy open mouth going, what the hell, man? All right, we're going to do schnews. Let's do schnews, damn it.
Yeah, let's do some schnews.
Because like I said, we do got to get out of here early. So, says the guy who's like talking about muskets.
Okay, look, we can take a musket break. All right, that's all right.
Yeah, it's Luna wants to get, or just got an 1858 Enfield last year. I fucking love it. I'll bet.
Oh.
Fuck. That's cool, man. I have seen some people shooting Civil War era muskets that are absolutely from that time. One that was stamped like 1862, and it was from that era. It was still in fairly good condition because that's from a good number of years later that they became available. Like, yeah, I could actually see that. That'd be fucking sweet, man. Boom. Italian teenager Carlo Acutis to become the first millennial saint on September 7th. Trucking along, man. There's already a saint who fits into the millennial age group.
Do we really need to make any more
saints?
Yeah.
Man, after the 20th century, or more saints in the 20th century canonized and in like several hundred than the previous millennium. And it's like, well, did they step up? And it's like, no, the 20th century was full of deaths was full of deaths. Let's just put it that way. And yet there were a lot of fucking martyrs in the 20th century, man. A hell of a lot. It's pretty tragic. Yeah. So, yeah, that's why that keeps happening. But this got to be the first one to fit into that category, and I don't know why. Everybody is so focused on millennial versus not, because we're like, there'll be a Gen Z one soon. And I'm like, yeah, there will be, because it's natural progression of age groups.
Yeah, funnily enough, time continues to go on.
Yeah.
Would you believe it? I know, I was shocked too.
Yeah. He actually died of leukemia. A young man, 15 years old when he died.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Pope Leo XIII did in fact say that, St. Michael. The 20th century was going to belong to the devil. How's that for a prescription of the future? Yeah. It wasn't a good time. Looking at you, rise of communism. Saying.
Holy shit. Okay, so he was just 15 when he died, but during his short life, he used his computing skills to spread awareness of the Catholic faith by setting up a website that documented reports of miracles.
Yes.
Hey.
He started by doing the Our Lady of Lourdes and all of the miracles associated with it, and then started doing current ones for other associations. Yeah, it began with Our Lady of Lourdes. That was website. I was like, no shit, cool.
Now that is televangelizing done right.
You mean you don't just talk in a mock Southern accent and ask for money all day long on your own separate television network? That's not the way you're supposed to do televangelization.
I mean, that's how I would do it, but absolutely.
Yours keep coming, they don't stop coming. Oh God, why would you remind me of that song, Rotten Corpse? Oh man. Yeah.
Hey now, you're an otter. Get your game on.
Frankly, Deller, I mean, to me, it's like sort of a tragic thing when you think about it in that way. It's like there's already a saint for everything, like the patron saint of this or that, right? And it's like, yes, there is, but take that as a sign of how many people died because of their faith, like directly. Do you know what I mean? They get assigned as the patron saint, so to speak, because of their association during their life with X or Y, and he becomes like the patron saint of, it's not exactly clear, but it's insinuated it's going to be he's a patron saint for those suffering from leukemia and those on social media in one way or another. Like St. Maximilian Kolbe's a patron saint of private radio operators. And it's like, why? A guy who was killed by the Nazis, a man who fought against communism and Nazism, why would he be? Because he used private radio, ham radio signals to get out reports from what was going on in Poland underneath the Nazis and the communists. So therefore, association what he did during his life. And it's like, okay, I get that. But it's like just how many people were martyred for no good fucking reason. And it's, yeah.
Frank Deller brings up a point. There's already a saint for almost everything. Like there's even a patron saint for bin men. You know what? Good. They deserve their own patron saint. Garbage collectors, the street cleaners, street sweepers. That's one of those jobs that it's paid relatively well in some places, but it's a pretty thankless job. And you know that they're doing their jobs well when you don't notice them at all. So yeah, I don't know.
There's no patron saint of sucralose, Gamer Valine. What are you doing? Yeah, I mean, Plague Trucker Zach, you're under no obligation to. You know, it's not a requirement. Yeah, if it seems weird to you, then don't do it. But, you know, idolatry? No, it's not that. But here's the news. Far's going to love this. Trump official drops world-altering revelation in live interviews, as viewers call it, the worst slip-up ever. And I've got to agree, this probably is the worst way to find out about something. A U.S. Army official may have accidentally dropped what some are calling the greatest Freudian slip ever. U.S. Army Secretary General Dan Driscoll was enthusiastically promoting the Army's upcoming 250th anniversary parade set to take place in Washington, D.C. this Saturday, when he said America has a soldier stationed on the moon. I knew it! Moon base is real!
That is just the most fucking American thing. Just ever.
Driscoll highlighted the Army's wide range of missions, from responding to natural disasters to what he called the internet is calling the start of lunar militarization. The country gets to see all these amazing things that the Army has done, he says, whether it's helping with floods in North Carolina or wildfires in California, or we talked to an astronaut yesterday who's on the moon, who's a soldier. Uh-huh. At a Freudian slip, the moon, Arizona, he meant. Thank you, Brian.
Oh, dear.
I've been keeping an eye on Scribe. You're right. I know. I have been a long time strong supporter of Scribe's mission for, lunar moon Lunar mission to the moon now and a moon station. Yes, of course. But I, unlike him, have always believed it's already there. We just need bigger and better funding. I figure that's one of the reasons that Elon Musk is so fixated on Mars. He already knows that there's a, lunar base. So he doesn't want to do another lunar base. This is my theory anyway.
Right.
It's part of my headcanon.
Who wants to build the second lunar base? Nobody remembers that guy.
Right. I was watching a stream the other day and somebody was they're talking about great things that have happened in the history. They were doing this, from the day that Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier to the day that, listing off all these things. And it's like, from the first words of the man on the moon, Army Neil Strong, right? And I flashed back to that episode of Star Trek Enterprise.
Was he any relation of Hamiyama by any chance?
Yes. I flashed back to that episode of Enterprise where it was a flashback episode in and of itself, where they were thinking about when Captain Archer got to become the captain of the first Warp 5 vessel. And it was actually a competitor of his that got it first. And it's the story of, well, how did you end up becoming captain if he was named to be the first captain of the Enterprise NX-01? And he's like, this episode is the flashback story to tell that. He's talking to a waitress and she goes, Jonathan, you shouldn't feel too bad. I mean, they're going to build another Warp 5 vessel. As I understand, it's already on the drawing board. And he goes, yeah. Do you know what the second man on the moon's words were? She goes, no. She goes, do you remember the name of the second man on the moon? She goes, no. He goes, I know. And he finishes his drink and stands up to walk. He goes, nobody does. Like, that's actually really good writing. Do you know what the first words were? The second man on the moon? Yeah. No, I don't. Nobody does. Well,
I do actually. I do actually know what those words were. It's hello, we've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Because of that joke in that episode, I kind of want to look it up just for, out of respect for the man. You know what I mean? He sadly does get a little overlooked. I mean, yeah, Army Neil Strong got his words, but what about nondescript other guy?
Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, it was Buzz Aldrin. Yeah.
Oh. Neil Armstrong's a solid name for an astronaut, but I think Buzz Aldrin is slightly better.
Of course.
Somehow.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, Buzz Lightyear wasn't named accidentally.
Right. Oh, yes. Neil Lightyear. No shade to anybody out there called Neil, but your name is not as cool as people that go by Buzz. Sorry. Is his first name actually, Burwitch or something like that?
I don't know, actually. Yeah, okay, this is a noir bar thing, but fuck it, we're doing it here.
Oh, wow, okay. Buzz Aldrin, born Edwin Eugene Aldrin Jr. Yeah, okay, I totally get it, Buzz.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. I'm not even going to laugh.
I see it there. Yeah, Edwin Eugene Aldrin Jr. Buzz.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. Look at this man. This is a hero.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Did you see that time he punched the fucking journalist?
Yes, I did.
Face?
Yes, I did. The moon landing was fake. Right? Wham! On the ground.
It just wouldn't leave the man alone.
I mean, this is worth repeating. Hold on. I'm gonna copy and paste Ham and Bean's comment here. There's no way to just repost, so I'm gonna repost on my own. There, that's fucking no. I have never seen that before, but holy shit, is that funny?
Frankie says, "Love the suit." You know what? Actually,
I know
that
Look
is
at him.
fairly tasteful.
Yeah, I mean, the black lapels, and I've seen him in that the full suit. Holy shit! I mean. I'm going to ask again, is this guy a hero? Yes, he is. I mean...
Look at that fucking grin.
Uh-huh.
He's like, boy, I'm 93 years old and I'm still smashing.
How is that not a donation? That's a good fucking question. I'm just going to leave that tab open for later purposes. Saying not too much here. Yeah, I see why he's smiling. Yeah, so do I. That's just... Okay, so let's wrap this story up here.
And if you don't know, here's 2 big fat fucking reminders. Yes.
Driscoll's comment appears to have confused the moon with NASA's International Space Station as he spoke to the Army Colonel Anne McLean, a NASA astronaut currently stationed on the International Space Station this week. However, yeah, right. That's what we call a cover-up. However, the remark made during a Fox News interview was brief with no follow-up details, but it did not take long for social media to ignite with speculation. You mean to spread the word? Did he just slip up? Is this more Pentagon disinformation? No, the disinformation is what followed afterwards. That was just information.
Look, they've got to have guards up there to protect the people that are building the drill to break through the outer shell of the moon.
Lunar pimp, dirty astronaut. I've started all kinds of fucking things here. What the hell? Okay, I didn't... Boston man fractured man's skull with a brick outside an ice cream shop.
I guess chilling out was not an option.
Jesus Christ, Sam. Holy shit. What? I know this is going to go on before I ask you to come on, and yet I still do it. It's like...
Yeah,
I
look at the crowd, Polly. Look at the crowd. Look at the adoration upon their little avatars.
A Boston man was charged in connection with a brick used to fracture another man's skull outside an ice cream shop in Revere last month, Suffolk County District Attorney Kevin Hayden's office said. Leonard Lomax. Good old LL.
Oh. Hypocrite.
What? It's like, see, mine was funny. Okay. Leonard Lomax, 33 years old, his name is LL. He's 33 years okay. Was charged with an assault and battery causing serious bodily injury, assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, brick, and malicious destruction of property exceeding $1,200. Was that his skull? Huh.
Malicious destruction of property. Either that or like some very expensive aviators, I guess.
Maybe the brick. It could have been one of them artisanal bricks or something. I don't know. This guy apparently has a criminal history that goes back to 2009. We don't have any... Okay. He was released on personal recognizance. Well, how severe could that 09 conviction have been?
Jeez. Mm-hmm.
The prosecutors request that Lomax be held for a dangerousness hearing. That's an awkward thing. Dangerousness hearing? And to revoke his bail.
Why not just call it a threat assessment?
Yeah, I don't know. Why do they call it a crankcase oil level indicator, not a dipstick? I have no idea. I just...
Because they are, in fact, a bunch of dipsticks.
Yeah.
That is why.
Our court system is fucked. I always choose to opt for the personnel rather than the system explanation. I think that there's way more fucked up DAs doing fucked up things within that which the system can be gamed to allow than it is the system that's fucked, in my opinion. If the system's fucked, it's that it allows DAs like that to hold office. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I'll agree to that extent. I mean, how the fuck can it be in the interests of literally American justice for Americans to allow foreign donors to fund those who they want to get into office to hold the office of DA? Looking at you, George Soros.
Yeah, it should absolutely be outlawed. Absolutely. And, I say this as someone who wants to move to the States and, one day have some representation with my taxation.
Yeah, but you would be here then and operating in and of the country. You wouldn't be a Soros-like figure trying to, from places abroad with your shadowy, suspicious money, funding things that directly undermine that which you're not able to get passed through Congress by your alternative funding.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's And if the question is like one of citizenship and loyalties and all that kind of thing, if I did want, I do not see any problem at all with the notion of saying that if you want to vote on things beyond like local government, if you want to vote federally, you should have to renounce other citizenships that you hold. I don't see any problem with that whatsoever.
No, neither do I. I don't see a problem with, like, as nearly direct a problem with holding multiple citizenships. Some people say, no, that shouldn't even be the case. I said, when the argument falls apart for holding multiple citizenships, where it's like, we have to find common ground on this. You want to operate as a DA or a member of Congress, or, you know what I mean? Yeah, no,
Yes.
dual citizenships in that case should not be a thing. Can we not agree on that? I think we absolutely should be able to. Come on. At what point is foreign allegiance not a conflict of interest?
It necessarily is. It necessarily. Look, I'm going to be real. If I was in a position of power in the United States, but I spent most of my time living over here in France, or spending a lot of time traveling over here in France, I'm gonna have some sympathies.
What you getting at with the book script? Spit that shit out, man!
It always takes me longer to click off that donation because I just love staring at Robert Downey Jr., giving him the look after he says it. You know, it's just.
It's kind of. To me, he looks like he's fighting back a smile.
I know. It's just... I know everybody loves him as Tony Stark, and so do I. But my order of favorite characters Robert Downey Jr. has ever played goes 1, Sergeant Lincoln Osiris, 2, Wayne Gale from Natural Born Killers, and then 3, Tony Stark, in that order.
Nah, that's fair. That is fair.
Kimberly,
And he did a bloody good job as Tony Stark.
What's that?
Sorry. And he did a bloody good job as Tony Stark as well.
Yes, he did. Like, I mean, it's a tough choice to make. I'm not saying it's a simple choice. The guy's played some extremely memorable characters, and coming up close in there is, I'm trying to remember his character's name from Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which, God, he did a good job in that movie too. He's
I've seen that one.
Comedic. You never seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang? Highly recommended, man.
Nope.
You will have some
that is the
Val Kilmer in it, showing his comedy chops, man, in a big way. It's, yeah. For Christ's sake, his character's name, okay, his character's name is Perry. Okay, but he's playing a flamboyant gay man. So he goes by the name Gay Perry. As in Gay Perry. It's just, the bad jokes just never stop in that movie. It's priceless. Kimberly, thank you for the 450. Hear me out. Johnny Kim is giving Buzz a run for his badass astronauts, while reminding me that my reputation is mainly based on bullying academics on the internet.
She has been doing that.
I mean, well, nobody doubts that's how you developed a reputation. I mean, I know grown men that quake in fear at the mention of your name, but, you know, me among them. But that, it's like I told Eve, it's not that I'm afraid of Valine. I'm just scared she'll hit me. It's different. I just... Moving along. Oh, yeah. Soul Duck Falls closed after man slips 50 feet and dies. I looked into it. Yes, this is an accurate picture of the area of the falls where this man fell. The area of the Olympic National Park is closed while rescue teams recover the body of a visitor. Okay, so it's sad, okay, but he's 18 years old, young man. He fell 50 feet off the waterfall to his death. They say he was walking across the rocks and he slipped and fell. They say he resurfaced at the bottom, but then went back under, never came back up, and the rescue team was going down there to recover the body. Fell only 50 feet and died. Okay. He was walking across these rocks, guys. Bro. I'm just looking at those rocks and I can see the slime from here.
Yeah. I think even Washington would be like, nah, we'll go upriver.
Yeah, this is, yeah, like there isn't a mountain goat that could keep a grip on them rocks. What the fuck were you doing? Or thinking rather? This is, yes, it's sad, but come on, man. Look at the waterfall itself. Like, you have to know if something goes wrong, you're fucked, right?
Yeah.
I just look at those rocks and I said, no, like they're covered in leaves and slime. There's no way. It doesn't matter what footwear you have. The safety rails are there for a reason. Yes, they are. Like, I get it. This story does not go into, I read a few stories on this, and yes, he went past the safety area for visitors and so on. And I get not wanting to carry on about it because, yeah, an 18-year-old young man died, and that's sad. But, bro, there's just sometimes you disregarded your own safety and to disastrous result, man. Fuck. I just can't believe that somebody looked at that and thought that they'd be able to get across that with a reasonable amount of assurance. Like, oh yeah, I can walk across that. Why would you think that? Why?
I got nothing, man. I got nothing on that.
Hey, Festonia, how's it going? Yeah, that's the whole point. It's just I can't believe they showed an accurate picture of what them falls look like so clearly. Indicate maybe that's why. Because in the story, it doesn't say, sort of like it's his fault for going past or, this was in an unsecured area. They were told not to write any of that stuff. So they put up a picture making it very clear on why it was a bad idea,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, here's a bear in a hot tub. They lured him out with donuts. This story makes a lot of sense to me. I can see this happening.
Yeah.
Just look at him in there, just chilling, just mind his own business. I would imagine it would be hard to keep a bear out of your hot tub. I mean, there's hot springs up in the mountains, right? And I'm sure a bear's pretty happy when they come across a river that's not icy cold.
I would have thought so.
Yeah. So when a bear's walking around in your backyard and spots a nice hot springs, why wouldn't he lay down for a soak?
Right.
I would. If I were a bear,
kick back, get rid of the stresses of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, Polly, you're kind of biased. I mean, you are an otter.
Yes.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be lured away with donuts.
As a frog, Polly, I have learned to fear the human-induced warm waters. You ain't getting me in that pot.
I mean, somebody I remember once suggested, I'm surprised that the bromine, bromide, or chlorine, or the various chemicals that you're using to keep the water from becoming a chemical or a biological petri dish. You know what I mean? Okay. Why do wild animals not react more strongly to that? Like, you can smell it as a human. Surely with their sense of smell, they can't be like, whoa, something's wrong with that water, man. Why did it? It's like, well, it must not be that offensive to them. I'm guessing, okay, it's a strong smell, but nothing they want to avoid, I guess.
Nature's panty.
I mean, everybody who's ever had known someone who lives on a farm, if you grow rhubarb there, all the animals avoid the leaves. They'll eat everything.
Yeah.
Everything. But your rhubarb plant will be perfectly fine because they can all smell the poison on it and don't touch it. It's like, so, I don't know. I figure if it's poisonous, they must just know it's not going to harm them. And it's a great time for a soak. I just love the bear soaking in a hot tub, and the only way to get him out was donuts. I love that so much. This is Yogi Bear
man,
come to life, man. CTP, thanks for the $6. Knife Ear Banjo playing. Yes, it is. It's so entertaining. I should have really let that clip go on longer. Yeah, well.
It needs a club beat to it, Polly. I'm telling you.
Oh, okay. So move along. Boom. Hundreds march through downtown Salt Lake to protest against the ice raids. I wanted to rant about this. I don't know if I really got it in me. Because I think everybody here is smart enough to know and to have a suspicion about protests. Man, do you need any more proof? Or what more strong evidence do you need? I guess is the way to ask that protesters are being trucked in, being vanned in. When you see them stepping off of a van that MSNBC, CNN, whatever particular left-leaning news source you might care to name, ABC, NBC News, they all just show them getting off. They don't even try and hide it anymore. It's just become part of the spin that protesters going from one city to the next, to the next, to the next, that's not a problem. These are just dedicated people. And it's like, no, this is astroturfed opposition. You just don't want to call it that. When the same protesters are showing up in city after city, it's not cities are in outrage. It's protesters that are being paid to be there are effectively showing up in multiple places, spurning on this activity. Come on.
Well, as we know, the hard left has got no problems bussing some problem-causing people around. They've done it many times. And then got super mad when Greg Abbott did it.
Right. Using people like this as political pawns is wrong. Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Your hypocrisy knows no end. Hundreds of protesters gathered and down. The classic example, too, if you see the camera pull back, yeah, it is a lot of people as long as you properly crop the image and zoom in to not show the wide open swaths of police-maintained clear streets for them to walk down.
Yep. There are dozens of us. Dozens!
Yeah. Ice out. Everybody get away. Yeah, one thing that I still... Probably the best explanation of my point here that I can think of it being astroturfed, right? The fake outrage. Your opposition is to Trump and the fact that your guys are not in office. That's the biggest opposition here. The fact that the complaint is currently about illegal immigrants and them being ejected from the country. How do I know that that's not a real concern to this? Where do I get off calling that a fake cause célèbre of the moment? Because there wasn't any opposition to Barack Obama when he was then the largest deporter of illegal immigrants. Where was the complaining then? And I mean, across the board, where was the complaining? Where were the protests in the streets? Where were the paid protesters going city to city? Where were the news entertainers trying to speak truth to power on the issue, as they all claim they're doing now?
But Polly, you see, the difference is that Obama was a good man who did it nicely, and Trump, of course, being the bad orange man, he's just inciting fear because he's a fascist. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Did you get a Nightmare Cat?
I did.
Good. Okay. Just trying to see what just... Cat is liquid. Cat is music. Thank you, CTP, for the $5. At this point, they aren't even trying hard to hide how astroturf the so-called resistance is. Plus, people are sick of Democrat willful inaction and incompetence. Yeah, there's another thing. It's easier to let protests and counter-protesters, so-called, get into it and riots to ensue and so forth when you don't do anything about it to begin with, like he said, Democrat inaction. It's like, no, don't stop the protesters. When your mayor is telling your chief of police how to act with regard to the political leanings of certain protesters but not others, yeah, that's a form of astroturfing. 100% it is. Agreed.
I remember watching Mayor Bass go on about the Marines showing up and all that kind of thing. It's just like, oh, we just don't think they need to be here. And it's like, right, I agree with you. They don't need to be there. You need to be the ones upholding fucking law and order. You're choosing not to, hence they're here. Excuse me.
Yeah. California is a sanctuary state, and we don't want the federal government here. We don't need federal troops here. We don't want federal ICE here. And after they've managed to destroy a whole part of the fucking colony that they've managed to form out of your fucking state, will you be asking for federal money to rebuild? You're goddamn right they will be. Mm-hmm. We don't need federal support except when you want to rebuild your dilapidated state and ask for federal funds to continue. Federal taxpayer money, by the way, to continue to support illegal immigration there. To help them further colonize your state? Why the fuck? What?
At what point do the other states have a right to turn around and say in the Senate, which is where this should really be happening, right?
I agree. Yeah.
No, we withdraw our support for your projects, for your long-term projects here. No,
See,
no, absolutely
in the
not.
Senate, I would love to hear that conversation. It's not the way the Senate really works in terms of division, but and that's its own problem. But yeah, I would love to hear that come onto the floor of the Senate. One of the two senators from California say, we need funding from all of you, meaning the rest of America here, the rest of the elected officials to represent the political entity of the state. We're here to represent California. We need money to rebuild. But you refuse to allow any of the funded federal officers to come in to enforce federal immigration laws. But after it all goes south for you, you want us to no. Like that kind of direct conversation on the floor of the Senate, yeah, it would be interesting to watch.
You're the 7th strongest economy in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a state, you've got shitloads of money, you know, that you're constantly banging on about you know, how the rest of the states are being subsidized by California and by California's taxes and blah, 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 blah. You should have enough to be able to sort out your own problems. And if you don't, the problem is your own mismanagement and your own lackadaisical view on immigration law, as well as, you know, clearing brush for forest fires and such. Why should we help you?
How about no? Right, Darren Root. That's just about the side. Yeah, how about no? Well, you can't. Were you just going to leave us to rebuild without it? Yes, because you asked for this. No federal assistance. Well, that was with your, you know, your stormtroopers. We want your money. Oh, I see. Fuck off. So your electability resides, like your re-electability and your popularity in your own state resides with you resisting on certain things and then demanding freebies on other things, even though one directly contradicts the other. Yeah, well, fuck that. Again, how about no?
It wouldn't fly with, you know, international politics. So why should it fly with federal politics? There's no such there's no such thing as a free lunch internationally.
Yeah, Newsom and his fucking budget surplus that he then tanked. I
22 billion deficits, Polly.
Yeah, I rarely get into good and evil and so on, but like if anybody, like you can't know someone's motivation, therefore assigning motivations is not a good idea. In poli-sci, it's not. But I can't resist when it comes to Gavin Newsom. When I see that guy smile, I see Palpatine. You know, it just, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
You come across as like the guy who shouldn't have power because you want it so badly. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's even less
What you
likable
getting
than
at with the book script? Spit that shit out, man.
I swear Valid's targeting you with that, man. That's twice now. Gamerline, thank you for the 450. The Marines sent to LA were the 2 to 7 out of 29 palms. He sent the angry ones with a history of violence, waiting to hear the song Pumped Up Kicks from a convoy while wrangling looters.
Oh, shit. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, on this same note, right? Kristi Noem, who I'm no fan of, just...
Oh, do not like her. Do not like her at all.
I mean, the phrase performative, yeah, if it applies to Newsom, it certainly applies to Kristi Noem, but, you know, anyway... I'm no fan of her, but she vowed at this, you know, we're going to continue on with the raids to arrest certain people that we have identified and anyone else that we come across during the raid. There's nothing untoward about that statement, in my opinion. There's nothing, you know, we're here to round up everybody. Like, that's not what's going on. They're looking for very particular individuals. And during those particular raids, if they come across other illegal immigrants, yeah, they're going to detain and deport them too.
Right.
What's odd about that? It's almost like California should, when you arrest somebody for, you know, getting in a barroom brawl or a DUI or any other kind of crime in California, and you know that their immigration status is they're there illegally, you should detain them for ICE. Oh, no, we don't do that here. We voted for a proposition to directly oppose that happening. Oh, well, would you be opposed if the rest of the U.S. Senate adopted a proposition to not fund you when you go against the federal government in every way possible?
Yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable. If states have the right to reject quote unquote federal interference, and there is an argument to be made that they do, then the rest of the states have by that same token the right to resist federal interference on behalf of California. Of course they do. Otherwise, you've basically got California leading the rest of the nation by the fucking nose, and you cannot have that. That's what the Senate, in my understanding, is to prevent exactly that.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. There is an argument. We want limited federal interference on this matter. We're not interested. Yeah, you should be able to refuse federal help. But with two things so closely linked as we want you to give us U.S. taxpayer federal money to rebuild our state after it was destroyed by a bunch of people that our federal law says shouldn't be here, that federal troops were trying to excise from the state, and we refused their participation, and we allowed riots to burn down whole parts of our state. Now we want you to help rebuild them. No, there's a contradiction there that just doesn't fly in terms, and states' rights doesn't have a place in the conversation.
If you obstruct firefighters from putting out your building your property when it's on fire, the insurance company is surely going to have some questions about the legitimacy of your claim.
Yeah.
Of course they are. Anyway, Polly, I'm gonna have to disappear here in just a minute. I do have to get some prep work done.
Oh, okay.
Just to let you know.
We will take a look at this then. A U.S. senator during that very press conference that nobody's ever heard of, Alex Palab, it doesn't matter, you'll never hear from him again, he's complete unknown, decided to run into this press conference and make a fucking ass out of himself. There was no Q&A scheduled, no nothing. This guy who they didn't know who he was, because he's a fucking nobody who wanted to make a name for himself, rushed into the room and tried getting up to the stage to start an argument. Security, thinking he was just some guy, because nobody knew who the fuck he was, grabbed a hold of him and pushed him back out of the room. And he started screaming, "I'm a U.S. senator, I should be able to go anywhere I want." And it's like, they didn't know that you were with the press. They didn't know you were anybody. They just...
This is a private venue.
Yeah. Like I said, there was nobody there but media. There was no time allotted for Q&A, and everybody knew that. It was just me, Kristi Noem, who, again, I don't agree with on all kinds of stuff. But they ejected you, and they're turning it into, mainstream media is turning it into, forcibly removed from the Noem conference. He was handcuffed. Did anybody know who he was? Did they have this shit kicked? Dude, you rushed in there like you were going to attack somebody.
Did he have his papers?
He didn't have anything identifiable on him. It's like, yeah, try not looking like a fucking protester. And if you want to do we will become ungovernable and rush every place that, look at Maxine Waters, push back on them. Okay, you don't think they're going to get ready for that when you have actual sitting politicians in the Democrat Party encouraging people to do this? And then senators end up doing it and you get confused with somebody who's not an elected official?
Right.
Why are you surprised? You act like
it was not so very long ago that one of the highest ranking politicians in the country had an assassination attempt.
Yeah.
Against them. It would be beyond the pale to suggest that security should not restrain somebody rushing the fucking podium where a politician is speaking. It wasn't that fucking long ago. And nobody, I'm not saying that, we need to be, super paranoid all the time and blah, blah, blah. That's not what I'm saying. It should still be part of the collective consciousness. And I believe that it is still part of the collective consciousness. And Padella's not a small guy.
No, he's not.
Right?
The guys that are grabbing up on him, like, is that the security guy? I could only tell because of the buzz cut and the tight shirt that he was, because he's significantly smaller than the senator himself. So yeah, I get why they put 2 or 3 guys, and all they did was push him back and out of the place. That is it. And Ron Corpse has a good point. I don't even think of it. He didn't follow lawful orders. Yeah, there were security personnel there that were there lawfully saying, stop, don't go any further, like walk out of the room. And he didn't follow lawful orders. I thought that was a big part of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, these guys were following lawful orders and we're like, no one's above the law. Well, neither is this guy, right? Does he get to refuse lawful orders because he's a senator?
No, absolutely not. Nobody's above the law. And
nobody's saying that he couldn't have even manufactured a situation where he could have gone about creating a discussion with Noem. I mean, she says that if he would have reached out to talk to me, I would have. I don't know. Maybe she would have dodged him or whatever. But my point is, if you want to rush in, this was an attempt to get yourself on camera. Let's just say it. Be honest. Why would you act the way that you did and not confront her when she was leaving or whatever? Why'd you rush in there while the cameras were running? Because I wanted to get caught on camera going up there being a rebel because no one knows who I am. And this is a way of manufacturing a controversy to show who I am. Nice try.
Absolutely it is.
All right. I'm looking at the time, 7:21. It's like, holy fuck, it is late, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me wrap this up. We're going to talk about, because I actually have to get going in about 15 minutes and I'm not ready to leave yet. So Christ, I got to get my stuff together too. Today's Friday the 13th, Sam. Did you know that?
I had heard.
Yeah, it is. It's a rumor that bad things happen on Friday the 13th. But I found out that there's a name for it. Hence the name of this stream. It's Paraskevidekatriaphobia. Want to take a shot at that, Sam?
Paraskevidekatriaphobia. Catriaphobia, sorry. Paraskevidekatriaphobia.
Okay. Yeah, it's fear of Friday the 13th. I mean, you know, well done, psychology, for coming up with the confusing. I mean, it's not exactly arachnophobia explainable, is it? You know?
Nah.
But, you know, he wanted to be a martyr. Yeah. He wanted to maybe get punched in the face and take a loose tooth. Martyred? No, I don't think that guy's willing to go that far. You know, he wanted the way, what's her name? Oh, fuck. The failed fat comedian, the blonde there, who's related to Chuck Schumer. Amy Schumer. The way Amy Schumer wanted to be arrested at that protest in, you know, in the way that she wanted to be a martyr, because she was under arrest for like 5 fucking seconds, handcuffed for maybe 3 of those seconds. You know what I mean?
Oh, and AOC pulling the same stunt with her arms behind her back as well.
I've never been handcuffed, but I want to look like I am. Yeah, this is...
What a dumb broad. What a dumb broad.
I mean, there's the problem with... there's the legacy problem that the 60s and the 70s protests have left us. Is that the victim narrative that's possible from being an arrested war protester in like 1971 kind of thing. It's like, we could be, you know, yeah, but you're not remotely those people. And I could even give you an idea of how astroturfed some of those events were. So come on. But anyway, Friday the 13th, it's not a problem. Do you know what did happen on Friday the 13th though, Sam?
What's that?
In 1307? That was a downfall of the Knights Templar.
Was it really Friday the 13th?
It was. That's some people go, but this article I find interesting because it goes on about like the psychology behind the superstition and things that are associated with Friday the 13th. And then one of the classic arguments is, well, that's because, you know, in 1307 on Friday the 13th, that is when the order went out to arrest all of the Knights Templar in France. And let me just dispel a rumor that's around that. No, the Pope didn't order it. That was King Philip of France who did that.
Yeah. Because we owed him a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
The Knights Templar,
King Philip owed a fuck ton of money to the Knights Templar and mysteriously had them arrested for heresy. I was like, wait, the King of France could charge them with heresy? Your politics were deep back in the day, man.
Well, I mean, you know, we are the only other nation ever to have, you know, seated the Pope beyond the Vatican.
It's
just throw that out.
Yeah. I mean,
well, with an exception of Peter, you know, but Petrus is he's a bit of a wild card, you know.
I like this particular. What is this? It's a Getty image, isn't that right? Getty burning. I thought the king did on behalf of the Pope.
Burning address. Actually,
interestingly, like it's not. I'm not trying to say the Pope didn't have a connection with it. The other way around. It's more like so. King Philip did it, and the Pope begrudgingly went along with it to the point of dissolving the Order of the Knights Templar 5-6 years later that made it official. It was the Pope who got pressured into his actions, not the other way around. People are like, well, how could the Pope be pressured by a royal force? I'm like I said, politics were deep back in the day. France was a huge player at the time, right?
Ask Charlemagne. He'll tell you.
Yeah, the politics are all over the place. So yeah, did the Pope begrudgingly, but nonetheless, go along with it after the fact to the point of dissolving the order to basically legitimize what Philip had done is the way that it looks like, right? And it's like, yeah, I can see it. Yep. But the original order to arrest them and the thing that necessitated a whole bunch of people seeing them as illegitimate. And why would the Pope even need to dissolve the order to begin with? Because if they were all arrested and some of them burned at the stake and set to torture and so on, the Pope better do something to back up Philip's decision, or it's going to look like he did it because, you know, the debt, which is, you know, why he did it. But yeah, fun history. And the Knights Templar, separate from bizarre conspiracy theories, is plenty intriguing on its own. Do you know what I mean? The real history of it gets plenty deep and intriguing and full of fascinating fucking bunny trails without needing to connect it to the Bavarian Illuminati, for example. You know, fun reading. Okay, Sam, last quick thing before you go.
Yep.
Why shouldn't you trust the Houthis? I promised we'd go there after the titular thing.
Just trust them?
Why?
I mean, They're funded by the Iranians, man.
Good reason.
Do you need any other reason?
Well, I'm just saying, okay, they're funded by the Iranians. They're out there in the middle of nowhere causing, terrorist strikes on international targets in international waters with...
They're not Yemeni at all.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Did you ever think that they're a bunch of fucking drug addicts would be a reason you shouldn't trust them?
I wanted to believe that, fundamental Islamists might actually abide by the laws against drugs in the Quran, but...
No, here they are with cheeks full
saying?
of cat.
What am I saying? Of course they don't.
I love these pictures. Here's a bunch of Houthi soldiers, every one of them looking like a hamster with a cheek full of cabbage, except that's the Khat or Qat, depending on how you spell it. We're talking about a cat, which is this drug, also known as Bushman's tea, especially in South Africa, is a flowering plant native to Eastern and South Africa. It is a history of cultivation. Think of it as coca leaf, basically.
Really quick, thank you, CTP, for the $5. Says medieval France, back when the French were based and not the suicidal communist homos of today. We're not communists, we're socialists. We're not quite there just yet. You're thinking of the Germans. But yes.
I just noticed Misfit. When you, Sam, said Charlemagne, she said, the God? I'm so glad you put the wink afterwards because I would have freaked out. Fuck Charlemagne the God. Lenny. Let's just call him Lenny. That's his real fucking name.
Lenny from the block.
Yeah, right? Wait, the guy's such an ignorant asshole. Yeah. He's a blatant out-and-out racist. Goes around calling himself Charlemagne the God. Completely ignorant of the time that he was naming himself after the first Christian king of Europe, thinking the name just sounded cool. And it does sound cool. I'll give him that. Charlemagne sounds cool. But... dude,
cultural appropriation.
Yeah, it's just totally not a name for you, bro. Like in 20 different fucking ways. And you go around with the ridiculous Nation of Gods and Earths bullshit, calling yourself a god. A jackass. But anyway, yeah, basically all these guys are on low-grade coke, is the short version of this story. Cat, when you chew it, as a stimulant effect, just when you read the effects of it, especially long-term effects, it reads just like the effects of blow. Shortened memory, decreased stress reactors, so inability to deal with tension. You have a shortened fuse. You're quick to rage. You can't sleep. Lowered sexual function. Well, that just sounds like blow. Well, yeah, that's what cat.
Or a drug.
Yeah, and any kind of stimulant of that sort over a long period of time. And look at these guys. Why are their cheeks puffed out like that? Because I just found out about this. Yeah, I was aware of what cat's existence, and I was aware that it was popular. I had no idea that in Yemen, 90% of adult males, 90% chew cat at least 3 to 4 hours daily. That's the UN report.
Shit.
The UN is not known for, making public facts that don't make these type of gentlemen look good. They tend to hide those sort of things. Yeah, this is the detail of just, wait a minute, so everyone in that country is basically a drug addict? Yes. Yes, is the short version of the story. What? Their cheeks are that puffed up because if you start chewing, you're not going to feel the effect, especially because you felt a decrease of the effectiveness because you've been using it for so long. That like an old man who's been chewing tobacco most of his adult life, he's got to stuff his cheek full and, chew spit for the next fucking hour to start to feel the buzz that's coming on. Yeah, and look at these guys walk around. Just puff cheek after puff cheek. All of these Yemeni soldiers, man, all of these Houthi, they're all high as fuck. I just find that mind-blowing. I mean, these are the soldiers that, it turns out to be a inbred, drug-riddled jackass isn't really going to help you fight a war against some of the world's best soldiers. Just saying.
Heroin. Peppermint flavored heroin.
Kimberly, thank you for the 375. Sorry, getting ready for work. The 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines. Spoiler, you will hear who they are when we watch The Pacific in 5 years. Oh, well, that's a relatively generous time frame. 5 years, okay. Yeah, so this, like I said, if we didn't need another reason to think lowly of the Houthis, this guy doesn't look buzzed at all, man. Holy shit. It's like you said, I would think that the strictly Islamic jihadis, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, I guess Muhammad of Mecca never said anything about cats, so it's fine. Holy shit. That's who you're fighting, man.
They fundamentally fail to understand what it means to eat pussy.
Does he have both cheeks full? Yeah, it looks like it. And I keep doing the comparison. Anyone's ever had a hamster? Yeah, this is what they look like. They just stuff their cheeks full to, actually eat the cabbage later, or lettuce, or whatever, carrots, whatever it is you're feeding them. Because that's just how they roll. They got these big puffy cheeks. It's adorable. Not like these guys at all, because of the Kalashnikovs and the 6th century pedophilic caravan robber who guides their morals. Just saying. Yeah. So,
what a bunch of chumps, man.
We've got Kalashnikovs. We can fight guys from the future. No, you can't.
No, you can't.
No, you can't. All right, that brings us to the end of the stream here. Okay, Sam, if you could post your link again so everybody could find their way over to your streams.
Certainly can do. 2 seconds, grab that there. I'm putting that in chat. Boom.
Would like to thank
Again, you can find all the
everybody
links
for
to all the
showing up
platforms.
today for our kind of impromptu stream. I switched with Sinatra, but it was a little rough going to make sure I got here on time. But I'm happy I did, and I'm happy y'all showed up, and I'm very grateful to everybody who liked the stream, who sent us a donation, because you guys are awesome. And if you still feel the need to support in the future, feel free to leave a comment. I love reading them. Or go over to X and retweet the twit, or the excerpt, as I like to call it, that I sent promoting the stream before we went live. But on that note, by all means, check out Sam's channel for all the gaming fun that happens over there. And remember, 12:30 a.m. later on tonight, we're doing Noir Bar. Woo! So it's going to be a fun night. There it is.
It's a packed night, Polly. It's a packed night.
Damn right. So we got to let Sam go because he's got to go do that. I got to run out and do some fucking errands now, and I got to get back and set up the stream. So 12:30 a.m. Eastern. See you over there. If you haven't been by for Noir Bar, check it out. It's a good laid-back late night time. In the meantime, you can spot us next, or find us next, over on Drunkle's channel on Monday. Where Sinatra, myself, and Drunkle will all be there, unless Drunkle has plans, of course. And they'll be at 5:30 p.m. Eastern or 5:30 a.m. on Christmas Island. Got your back, people at Flying Fish Cove. I never forgot you. See you then. Until then, have a good night, everyone. See you at Noir Bar.
Thanks again, guys. Good night.
And, oh, of course, Sam, thank you for showing up, man. Always a good time.
No, all good, man. All good, dude.
Yeah.
Happy to help.
Chat loves you. Laters.